أهلا وسهلا فيكم. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to this exciting panel, Tech for Good. Before I introduce the panelists, give you an idea about what the panel is about, and give you a brief. Today, web and mobile technologies are creating tremendous opportunities for NGOs and social enterprises to amplify their impact. From collecting and disseminating data to sourcing and matching funds and people, technology is allowing social entrepreneurs to cover greater areas, reach more people, and scale their operations. I'm happy to introduce my panelists here. Kamel Asmar, founder of Nahwa. Edouard Jasser, founder of Sahatkom. Amber Hussain, team lead, operations and media, Souktel. And last but not the least, Mazen Khalifi, head of MENA portfolio for Kiva. So first, I would like you guys to introduce your company, your NGO, and tell the audience a little bit about what you do, since some of the people are not familiar with your NGO or social enterprise. And I would also highlight one of the successful projects or initiatives you've done with a focus on technology, how you use technology and to make this initiative or this project successful.
Okay.
We'll start with Cam.
Okay. Nahwa is basically all about technology. It's a non-profit to spread awareness about social entrepreneurship and volunteerism in the Arab world using social media channels. We have the main component is the volunteers matching portal. It matches volunteers with volunteering opportunities. We have many other initiatives on the website that are basically based on social media, and the website comes as a supportive platform for these initiatives. I'll start with the volunteer matching one. We deal with nonprofits to promote their volunteering opportunities on the website, and we promote these opportunities on social media like Facebook, Twitter, and all other social media channels. People go on the website, they register and they can connect their accounts to their social media channels, their own social media channels. Then they apply to the volunteering opportunities available on the website. That's one of the main component of Nahwa. We have many other initiatives. We actually figured out that we can promote the platform as a supportive platform for anyone who wants to take advantage of the internet to do good. We have like the blood channel is another initiative. We promote blood need cases in Jordan. People send us that somebody needs blood in specific hospital. We promote that on social media with the blood type and information how to contact the person who's in need. We also have an initiative supported by ArabNet. People can go online and submit a form for their in-kind donations, and ArabNet will pick them up from their doorstep and bring them to us, and we distribute them with our volunteers. One more initiative is Ammerha to promote entrepreneurship in underprivileged areas by taking videos for potential entrepreneurs in underprivileged areas and put their videos, those videos on the website for people to vote, and by the end of the day we will get funding to fund these projects. That's in general Nahwa. And as I said, it's all about technology, it's all about using social media to promote volunteerism and social entrepreneurship.
يعطيكم العافية.
Allah Hafiz, thank you.
Thank you. I would like to thank ArabNet for inviting me here, and I'm glad to be here. I work for the Hassan Science City, which is the first, I think, science park in Jordan. Now I'm in academia. I'm in Princeton University for technology. I will share with you today our journey in a very exciting project called Sahatcom, or Social Health and Information Technology for Rural Communities in Jordan. The project was motivated by our understanding that ICT is a very important tool to enhance services provided to citizens, especially those who are in rural areas and remote communities. So we designed an intervention, IC intervention, with the help of the International Development Research Center in Canada, who kindly supported us financially and technically and helped us shape our idea. The idea basically is design an ICT tool, basically a web portal and mobile application to enable rural communities to have better access to health services. The intervention is built in 3 components. The first is awareness module, and we allow health workers to send information to like large section of rural communities about health issues, about medical days, about anything that they want to communicate with the rural communities. Also, we design a vaccination management system, and we enabled mothers in rural communities and remote areas to register their newborn babies or children, and we will issue automatic reminder about the next vaccination to both the parents of the child and the clinics that they serve, that serve these communities. So we enabled parents to like make sure that their child, their children are having vaccination in time, and we help the clinics to plan for having the right amount of vaccines so that they don't just run out. And then the last and most challenging one is Ask the Expert, and we allow residents in rural communities to ask medical questions to like doctors, and we have like a system that is built. We allow doctors to receive these questions. We have like load balancing as well, and then doctors will answer to the questions of the citizen. Of course, we have like a mechanism to filter the question and the answers. Our experience with this project now, it's a pilot phase, and we applied this project in like 5 or 6 clinics in the south of Jordan, and some like remote areas in the north and the middle. With the pilot, we have a very good and promising result. But of course, we need strong evidences once we scale up this intervention to be like nationwide. Hopefully it will, like the government will adopt this initiative, and the Ministry of Health will move it forward to serve all Jordan. We hope for that.
Great stuff. Thank you, Edward.
Hi, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. My name is Amber Hussain, and I work for a company called Souftel. Souftel is a Canadian-Palestinian initiative. Our headquarters...
Can you speak closer?
Okay, sorry. It is a Canadian-Palestinian initiative. We have a headquarters in Toronto, Canada, as well as in Ramallah, Palestine, where I work out of. Essentially, what Souftel does is design and develop phone technology that is used to put important information and sometimes like life-saving information into the hands of people in remote areas. We work primarily in the MENA region, in the Middle East, as well as in Africa. There's really 3 main functionalities of our platform. The first one is called SMS alerts, and what this does is it sends out information from either a handset or from a unique interface to, it could be 10 or hundreds of thousand people at once. You have the ability to manage groups and manage sort of the parameters in which groups are made. Some examples of how that is being used in the field is it's being used for humanitarian aid assistance in Gaza. During 2009, we worked with several NGOs that would send out information to their beneficiaries. So, for example, we're distributing aid packages in Gaza City at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Please come by. That type of thing. It's also being used for logistics. It's being used for security methods. So, for instance, again in Gaza, we're working with an NGO to set up a system where security groups in schools in the seam zones in Gaza are able to send out messages directly to parents when there's incursions or when there's issues with kids walking to or from school. So that's the example of alerts. The other functionality is SMS surveys. And what this does is allows two-way conversation through SMS. So it gives the NGOs the ability to send out a series of questions which are answered directly from a handset. All that information goes into a database that can be accessed online as well as exported and used and analyzed. It's really great for things like really simple opinion polls. So, for example, Al Jazeera during Gaza, actually I'm using a lot of Gaza examples, but they're sort of the best ones, okay? During Gaza, was able to, it was their first initiation into citizen media. So they would ask questions and send out like a short code, and people were able to respond in terms of what was going on around them, their opinions on what were happening during that time. It can also be used for education NGOs when they have classes. If they want to do pop quizzes with their students, the students can respond, that type of thing. What else do we do with it? It's also with, in Africa, we use it with, in Somalia, with a program that is helping to build the constitution in Somalia, and what they're doing is using it a lot for radio and TV feedback, so people again are able to respond to questions that are put forth on radio or on TV, and they can respond using a short code that goes directly onto the ticker on a TV channel, or the announcer gets them in real time. And then the third main platform that we have is a searchable database. Essentially, the database can be accessed either, again, using the web interface, but also the mobile phone. So essentially, what happens is people can create a profile based on a series of questions that they receive on their mobile phone. And then they're able to search that database by using commands. So for example, in Palestine, we run what is called a job match program, and what that does is allow university students to find jobs by just using their mobile phones. The universities sign up, or the students sign up, and they answer a series of questions based on what type of jobs they're looking for. And then we work with employers on the other end to create job vacancies. And students are able to actually search using their mobile phone for these job matches. And as well as the employers have access to the website, so they're able to see people that are applying for these jobs. That can also be taken out of jobs into things like, we're doing a program in Uganda for agriculture. So again, farmers can upload a profile based on what they're selling, and people who are looking for those types of goods can also upload a profile, and they are able to match, again, using a mobile phone. It works on any handset at all, any handset, so that it doesn't, so in terms of access, there's no limitation. That's basically the summary kind of what we do.
Thank you so much, Amber. Very inspiring.
Hi, my name is Mazen Khalifi. I'm the portfolio manager for Kiva in the Middle East and North Africa. Kiva is an international NGO that connects lenders from all over the world to clients or entrepreneurs benefiting from microfinance institutions. We work with MFIs within 100 or more 20 countries, and we have dispersed so far since 2005 more than $200 million all over the world. Our current outstanding portfolio is more than $50 million. 6% of this portfolio is in the MENA region. We have dispersed more than 500,000 loans so far. We have more than 550,000 lenders that use our website to provide funds for clients. We are looking forward to expand our portfolio in the Middle East. Currently, we're working in Lebanon. in Iraq, Jordan, and Palestine. 2 weeks ago, I was in Yemen, and we look forward to have partners in Yemen as well as Egypt. But since from what's happening now in these two countries, everything is put on hold, but we look forward to expand our portfolio here in the region. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. The first question is, how can technology, web or mobile technology, help solve one of your major challenges that you are, for your NGO? Please.
Basically, in the Arab world, the volunteering culture is not mature as it should be. So using technology and social media, we can reach people who are not involved in social work and not involved in volunteerism. And that's basically the challenge that we need to get over by letting more people getting into volunteerism and social entrepreneurship. And social media is the best platform for us to reach those people.
Okay.
Yeah, for us, for our project, I think of two reasons. One is cost effectiveness and wide coverage, because this is very important for health services. And to reach for remote areas, we need ICT is a major tool, and I think a very essential tool to use it.
Okay, for us, because we are more of a service provider, I think one of the things that we do is we really help people. It's about access. It's about, so in a place like Palestine, let's say, where there's checkpoints and there's barriers to mobility, there's people that feel quite isolated, and NGOs have a hard time reaching them on a consistent basis. So what it does is it provides them with that access, is communicating to them, but it also allows people that are living in those places have a voice as well. So they're being heard, and their opinion is being taken into account, which is something that's very important. As well, and it's doing it in a quite cost-efficient way. So I think that's the main thing that we do.
Azza?
For Kiva, everything related to Kiva is done online. Our partners, our MFIs, post profiles for clients on our website, and the loan is being fundraised also on the website. Then the wire transfer is done online, and the transfer from back and forth for Kiva is done online. So basically, internet is the engine for Kiva.
Great. What has been the most important technology that you consider was the key to the success of your NGO?
Social media basically is the most important component that we use. Nahwa is a social media project, a social media platform with a supportive website. So social media was our main technology that we used. Social media and social media tools, APIs, and stuff like that, we build on the website to help in spreading the word about volunteerism.
Yeah, for us, I think it's for all communities is a mobile technology, because according to latest statistics, mobile penetration in Jordan is very, very high, more than internet penetration. And yeah, for reaching for communities or remote areas, I think it's mobile technology. For a medical expert or health worker, I think it's the concept of social media and social network. So.
I agree. For us, it's mobile technology, and it's really taking mobile technology in sort of its simplest forms, in terms of handsets, in terms of packages, access, that type of thing. It works on every network. So I think it's less about the advancement of technology as it is now, but really using the simplest form of technology to be able to access the most people.
For Kiva, I think internet is the key for success, because everything is done online. But on the other hand, we have a contract with PayPal. They offer the service for Kiva for sending and receiving funds with 0% fees. and this is considered very successful for Kiva for reducing the cost.
So, one question related to basically what's going on now in the Arab world with all those, you know, revolutions around the Arab world happening. How are you getting prepared, or are you doing anything from a technology perspective to cope with this, with all those revolutions and all the crisis response things that the revolutions bring about?
Well, let me start with the Kiva. Since we don't do direct lending with clients, we do partnerships with microfinance institutions that are working, let's say in Lebanon, like Amin and Al Majmoua. So if anything happens, revolutions or what you said, we don't take action because our partners are responsible for our money and for collection and sending our money back. So maybe we are, let's say, we will be affected if anything happens, but we are on the safe side that we are not responsible for collecting our money, but our partners.
You know, the thing is that the idea here is since NGOs have more work to do in a crisis, during the crisis than in normal situations, I think if you are ready to cope with this, with the crisis, then you have to be prepared and do like certain things in order to be ready for it.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you don't want to be caught by surprise.
Yeah, we found that a lot actually. Again, with gas, we had a client. One of the clients that we work with is the Red Crescent in Palestine, and what we did with them was we helped them take their entire database and categorize it by blood type, and we were able to make groups on our system. So what happened during crises that happen either in the West Bank or Gaza is they're able to send out messages just to people, let's say with blood type O, if they're low on blood type O, and ask them if they'd please come and donate at certain areas, that type of thing. Now that's a really great case study for people that an organization that was prepared. But what we did find was that a lot of people were back on their heels when it came in 2009, and that they didn't have this information. We don't provide the phone numbers. The NGOs need to provide that for us. And so because they didn't have this information, they were really scrambling to find out what was going on. And also because people aren't used to, in our case, receiving text messages. At that time, when there's a crisis, you receive text messages. In this case, you're receiving them from the IDF telling you to run to a certain area. You're receiving them from other people. You don't know what to believe. And so it's really important for NGOs to start these types of programs prior to a disaster happening, because people are used to communicating that way. I mean, when you receive a text message from our system, it actually, in the caller ID, it has the name of the organization that you're receiving it from. But in a case of when there's panic, you don't know whether to take it seriously or not. So it's very important for NGOs to at least, if they are going to use this technology, is to have it implemented and running in order for them to actually be able to use it to the fullest extent.
Yeah, for us, the project we are doing still is a pilot phase. So we are learning a lot about the interaction between citizen and the technology. Of course, what we're doing can be applied to any sector, not only health. But we need to really reach conclusion about how we use technology and how to prevent abuse of technology, because people can abuse the technology, false information, misinformation, etc. So yeah, hopefully we will learn a lot about how to really best utilize this important tool to provide services and to deal with crisis.
I think a project like Nahwe will have a role in a country like Egypt now, because people are more aware of what they should do for their country and serve their country better. So we can take advantage of the situation now to get into Egypt and let people start using the service.
Are you guys using any open source code? I want to know what is whether you need, what do you need from a technology perspective? Are you missing specific APIs? Are you so since this panel discussion is focused around technology use, in the NGO space?
Nahu is an open source project with Ruby on Rails, and we use lots of APIs. The only thing that we really need, and Twitter can't give that piece of information to us, is country-based analysis for Twitter users. We can't know how many Twitter users are in Jordan or in any other country, so we can't rely on Twitter, the connection between the user account and Twitter to get that piece of information. So they have to go through our form and fill the information. On Facebook, it's much easier because we can get it.
Yeah, for us, our project is open source as well. We use Java-based mobile application and Java and PHP for our portal. And we insisted on having it open source to allow contribution from open source community. Because I think this project needs to be evolving to be tailored to the needs of Jordan. So we open the opportunities for open source developer to contribute.
Okay, I'm not the person to be asking this.
Actually, for microfinance, not Kiva, I mean in general, we do encourage the use of mobile banking. This step will allow clients or entrepreneurs to save time and money for going to the bank or institution paying their monthly installment. And we at Kiva, we do encourage the use of mobile banking, and we look forward for this service in the Middle East.
There's one thing I would like to add. I mean, ours, it isn't open source. It is something that we've looked into, and it might be something we're migrating to in the future, but for right now it's not. But I think in terms of technology, some of our main challenges are in terms of what evolving. So one of the things that we're going to, or that we're working on is an IVR system. So voice, so that people that cannot read, that are illiterate, are able to also access the system, as well as people that are endangered. So for instance, if it's women who may be under domestic abuse, having a series of text messages on their phone can be incriminating. So for security reasons, it's much easier for them to use voice. So that's something that we're moving into. Yeah, that's.
So I know all of you guys have some a web presence and doing some mobile stuff, but have you created applications for Android, iPhone, BlackBerry, because this is you are expanding your reach to the masses, right?
Yeah, for Nahu, we're building an iPhone application right now to send push notifications for the new opportunities being posted on the websites, and for the Black channel also to send push notifications, but it's still in the making. But we believe that mobile applications and SMS, we're also working with Suqtel on that part. We have to take mobile into consideration, because internet penetration in Jordan is, and in the Arab world in general, is not that high, and to reach more people we have to use mobile.
For us, although it's not pressing for us to have application for iPhone and Android, because we are targeting rural communities and they have this basic phone. They just use text SMS messages. But we are looking now, our developers are looking at iPhone applications and Android applications to be prepared for that.
Yeah, essentially the same thing. Right now our audience isn't using those types of phones, though it is something that we are, in case there is sort of an upsurge in it, that it is something that we're looking at, but it's still something that's, I think, in the future.
Basically, we are not using this service right now, but we do push our partners in the Middle East to do so.
Yeah. By the way, not to underestimate the number of feature phones or phones that are not actually smartphones, because most of the MENA market is still a feature phone market, and we still have to cater for those users who can do only SMS or only have limited internet capability. What is your ask from from the technology companies like Google, or how can, for instance, those tech giants or tech companies help you? What's your ask from big technology infrastructure companies in the region, such as mobile operators and telcos?
For Google, I guess they're doing good with their AdWords grant, and we're working on that right now. I have a concern about YouTube for NGOs, partners, NGO partnership, NGO pages. They're not operating in the Arab world at all. Actually, I guess only 3 countries. And we can take advantage of being YouTube partners because we have projects based on video content. That's very important for us. Those are the 2 main things that Google, we're working on the grant, and YouTube, we hope that at some point we'll be able to build a YouTube partner page for NGO.
Yeah, for me, I have one wish from the mobile operators in like Jordan or any community or any country, which is to activate their social responsibilities, because we try to reach for mobile operators to help us, to provide us with like assistant, either technical assistant or maybe like funding, but we were not that successful. So I hope they will be active in social work in the future.
It's the same. I think with the mobile networks all over really the Middle East and Africa as well, is they're very they're really behind when it comes to this type of technology, and they make it actually very difficult for us opposed to helping to facilitate it, even when it's something that would really, I mean, from their own corporate social responsibility perspective, would really help. But even if it's not about lowering prices of SMS or if it or providing free SMS, just allowing us to have reverse charges. So for us, what ends up happening is that we have a every time somebody responds to a text message, it comes from the beneficiary, and what NGOs want to do is just reverse those charges. We'll give a bunch of money and pay down, and they won't even allow that to happen. So just to have a bit more flexibility when they're working with these types of organizations. And of course, it would be great if Nokia, somebody gave us a bunch of handsets so that we're able to distribute them out. That would always be great too.
Actually, our headquarters is in San Francisco, and Google and Kiva are neighbors, and there is a serious negotiation between Kiva and Google to use their website to promote Kiva more globally. But also we are looking for a media company in the Middle East because we need to promote Kiva here more to support our expansion. So I'm not sure if there is any media company here with us today we can talk about. We're not going to pay a lot because at Kiva we don't make money.
So I want to ask a question to the audience here. Who's among you willing to dedicate I don't know, 10%, 20% of his time to work for an NGO, for definitely the right reason, of course?
Wow.
So what are you doing, guys, to take advantage of people who are willing to volunteer? Are you be able to do the right level of outreach to?
Let me start with this. Actually, at Kiva, on a quarterly basis, we do training courses for Kiva. It's called the Kiva Fellow Program. We have fresh graduates come from all over the world to Kiva headquarters for training, and those people travel all over the world and to help our partners implement our policies more and more in their offices. And they do this for free. Actually, they do this, they pay for everything for cost from their own pocket money. So if anyone is interested in assisting, let's say Kiva as an NGO, we will be happy to having you as a Kiva fellow in the Middle East.
I think for us it's really contacts is the best way. That if you know of an organization or if you have contacts in the NGO world or ideally ideas of how we can use our technology that sort of advice and those sorts of contacts are probably the most valuable for us at this point.
One question which is not really like technology related, but it's actually it's probably important to shed some light on this. I know NGOs have a lot of challenges. One way of I want to step back and say something. What is the relationship with the government? Is the government, which is supposed to be an enabler to the NGOs in the country, is the government helping you out, or is the government hindering your progress?
Let me start with.
And what is your, what do you ask? That's the thing.
Okay. In microfinance, it depends on the country. In Lebanon, we didn't face any problem with the government, as well as Jordan, but we will be facing a problem in Egypt. We will be facing a problem in other countries. I don't want to give names, but sometimes the government is putting obstacles for sending and receiving foreign currencies to the country. Let's say Egypt, it's not easy to send US dollars in and out. Also, regarding microfinance, sometimes governments put obstacles for implementing microfinance in the country, or putting a limit for charging interest rates, which is not compatible to microfinance best practices or the institutions. So it depends on the government, but mostly governments are not being helpful in microfinance.
Are you guys sharing the same experience?
I guess because we work through NGOs and quite large NGOs, so they have the relationship with the government. And we've worked in Iraq, and we've worked in Jordan and Egypt and Palestine. Palestine, we've had really no issues with the government at all. In Egypt, we have had, it has been, but in general, it's more the mobile companies that prevent us from entering a market more so than the government itself.
Actually, for us, the government was, in some part, very helpful to us. For example, the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, they made available to us the National SMS Gateway, and we could send SMSs through this gateway at very reasonable prices. And also, the Ministry of Health, they provided some help, like in data collection, etc. But on the other hand, government are very slow to respond to our needs, and especially when we are dealing with e-health, the issue of security and privacy is very, very important. And until now, our effort to engage in a dialogue about the laws and legal infrastructure to help us to help this project to perform very well is still lagging. So they are very slow to respond.
Governments, we faced many problems with the government, but on the other hand, government officials are convinced by what we do, so they help in their personal capacity. But we faced many problems, and we decided that we're going to approach people directly, going from the bottom of the pyramid to the top.
I want to open the questions to the audience here.
I will speak first. We were funded by the International Development Research Center. It's a Canadian, USAID. So yeah, they funded our project fully.
You can't get any money from the Canadians. Most of ours are funded through NGOs. We've had some World Bank funding. We've also had some sort of Arab funding as well, but most of it is through project-based. We operate our job match system in Palestine as an NGO, and the rest of the organization is really is sort of a social entrepreneurship. So we get paid for what we do.
Nahwa is a CSR program for my private company. So it's funded by my company, but we're building premium services on the website for corporates to use them, and we're going to charge for these services.
For Kiva, we don't get funds from governments or NGOs. Our money comes from individuals all over the world. Like I said, we have more than 550,000 registered on our website. 10,000 individuals join our website each week, and this is for long funds. Our cost comes from while processing a loan on our website. There is a small thing called a tip, which is optional for lenders to use or not, and this tip covers 70% of our cost, and the remaining 30% comes from major companies in the United States.
By the way, that doesn't mean that we don't seek funding. So if you're interested,
Are you prepared for sustainability? Do you have plans? Like, what if any of this funding is cut off? How are you going to survive? I know it's not part of the NGO DNA is to be prepared for sustainability, but have you given it some thought, and what are some mechanisms that you think should be put in practice in order to sustain your efforts? Definitely, it's a great cause what you're doing, but unless it's sustainable, it's going to be another sit down or let down for a lot of people.
I already answered the question. We're building premium services on the website for corporates to use, and we're going to charge for these services. We're also working on workshops, social media workshops with other NGOs, and we give Durban Fisheries social media workshops all over Jordan, and that's another source of funds.
Yeah, for us, our focus now is more on research. Like we need to understand the interaction, best interaction between citizen and ICT interventions. But also we are looking into like how to sustain our project. We are looking to advertisement, etc. But it's not my strong area, so I'm sure we'll need some help from other people in this regard.
In terms of people using the technology, a big part of our services is actually training. So to go into train NGOs and their field workers and whatnot on how to use the technology, and working with them in as their programs evolve, and is how we can apply the technology to those programs. So from that perspective, that's quite important to us. And then I think just in terms of staying abreast on the technology ourselves and making sure that we're evolving and growing and changing as the needs of our clients.
For Kiva, we had concerns about the economic crisis that hit the world recently, and especially the United States. But we did survive, actually, and didn't affect our portfolio, and it didn't affect people joining our website. So we did survive, and we look forward for more lenders to join our website. For sustainability, we don't look for sustainability as the money we are using is not ours. Actually, it's for people. We send it back and forth, but we do look for covering only our costs.
This question is for Kiva. I'm actually a member of Kiva, and I've given some loans to people in Iraq and Africa through Kiva. And part of the appeal of Kiva is that you're helping other people directly. At least that's what's in your mind before you get into the details. And what I found was, it's actually, hello? It's working still? What I found is that it's given by your partner organizations that are down on the ground, and these loans are actually already given.
Yes.
And you're just funding a loan that they've already given.
Yes.
So much of the appeal of you helping another human being is gone. So is there any vision for changing the business model so that there's a direct person-to-person interaction?
Okay. Well, since we are working with more than 120 states all over the world, it's very hard for us to control, to do direct lending. But as you said, that we do disperse loan that already being dispersed by the MFI. The reason for this is that we don't interfere in the MFI policies and procedures. So they can just give the loan as any other loan to a client, disperse it. But the MFIs are interested in working with us because we provide funding with 0% interest rate, which is very rare. Actually, it doesn't exist in the world that someone is giving you a loan with 0%. And this will reduce their lending cost and operations. But we cannot do direct lending because due to the huge demand on our website, and we are, as I say, we are working in all over the world. The thing is that we may consider is not in the near future, but this idea may happen, but it's not in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, the gentleman in the back. Sorry, the gentleman in the back. He raised his hand before.
So my question is to all of you. I would like to know up to how much do online donations account as part of your maybe yearly or monthly donations?
What was that?
In percentages.
For us, it's 0. Unfortunately.
I don't know if that's happening in the Arab world, but in Jordan, the regulations, anti-tourist regulations prevent us from building online donation system. But we're trying to get an exception to help all nonprofits to raise funds online using, especially that PayPal is now working in Jordan. So that will help, and that will help us big time. But the regulations prevent us from doing that. But through promoting some causes online, actually all our causes are promoted online, we get donations, but not in the online payment. It's paid cash, basically.
For us, I just want to add something. For our project, we did not reach like a significant impact that we can convince people to donate either online or like offline. So I think it's important to reach this level of like, to show a significant impact of this project in the community before we open donation.
Yeah, we haven't.
0.
We don't have donations, but the only donations we receive online is tips, as I said, to cover our cost. But as for the loan capital, we do pay it back full for lenders.
Thank you.
I need to shed some light on your relationship with the mobile operator. Today, right now, I think what we understood from you have a lot of challenge to mobilizing your application. How do you push it to the mobile? And because it brings you a lot of value to your products. I'm not speaking on behalf of the mobile operator. I work as a mobile operator, but mobile operators are very much interested in CSR activities. And we do have a lot of CSR activities. But at the same time, there is a missing link that we really don't understand sometimes what you need to do, what needs to be done. So it's really, you need to create this PR with the mobile operator to bring you on board. And not just give you access, and assist you in developing your product. But we need to give you a lot of capability that can assist you. For example, what you're saying about blood donation. We can clearly assist you into sending only your requests to people in the areas where you have the needs, and not push a broadcast to the whole country. So there are certain issues we can help you, we can expose our capabilities. There is a lot of capability that we have internally that you can make use of it and be more productive in your products and make sense out of it. So,
sorry, what was the question here?
The question it is right now that we're talking about the problem they're having with the mobile operator and mobile not cooperating very well with them in terms of either developing their application or mobilizing their application. We should take it further than this, in particular in CSR, that we should assist them into how to really reach their target, reach their objective, because we do have those capability and nobody is using them.
So are you making a statement or
yeah,
offering something,
statement.
or
maybe
you're
shed some lights on it?
Okay.
For Kiva, we don't. We don't look for mobile services in our work. But I advise you to talk to, let's say, in Lebanon, to local microfinance institutions that are really interested in using mobile banking. This is very helpful for microfinance institutions. This is an advice for you to penetrate mobile banking service.
If I can comment, I think there is a misunderstanding between like NGOs and mobile operator because we don't speak the same language. For us, we want to have like support from big companies like mobile operators, either through technology or maybe funding. And for them, of course, they want to enhance their business or like enhance their share in the market. So I think we need to have like talks or we need to engage in a dialogue to reach they need to support us because it's their social responsibility. And of course, we need to better communicate with them our objectives, our intervention, so that they can help us perfectly. But I think it's not easy to do that dialogue. I think it is quite challenging right now.
Yes, in Jordan we actually experienced something with mobile operators. They like to deal with big NGOs to get the exposure. They do this, their CSR, but they don't really get involved in small NGOs to provide their services. We tried to approach a mobile operator in Jordan for the blood channel, and we actually ended up talking to Suqtel for the SMS because it's taking too long. They keep promising, but nothing happens at the end of the day.
I don't think they see the dollar sign.
Guys, thank you so much for attending. We run out of time here. Feel free to go and mingle with those great NGOs here. And by the way, they're all accepting cash and checks.
Made out to me personally. Yeah.
There you go. Dear panelists, thank you so much for being on the panel.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much.